Did you catch that Coldplay kiss cam moment that blew up online? Two top executives caught on camera, hugging and sharing a quiet, seemingly innocent moment at a concert. Except, here's the kicker. Both were married to other people. What started as a casual private gesture instantly turned into a public scandal. One of them resigned immediately. The other went on leave. The internet exploded. And just like that, their entire world shifted. Because a camera caught something they thought no one else saw. Now imagine if that kind of exposure happened at work, but instead of executives caught in personal scandal, it was leadership caught red-handed in shady, unethical behavior, cutting corners, ignoring safety protocols, or quietly pushing pharmacy techs into impossible situations. But here's the difference. Unlike celebrities or execs, when pharmacy techs call out these problems, there's rarely a viral moment or public accountability. Instead, the spotlight feels like a threat. Instead of applause, it's whispers. Instead of recognition, it's punishment. This is the reality for so many of us in pharmacy today. We see leadership bending rules, prioritizing speed over safety, or shifting blame down the chain. And when someone speaks up, they become the problem tech. Just like those executives' quiet moment exploded publicly, the everyday truth about shady behavior from the top quietly impacts thousands of pharmacy techs who never get their moment in the light. This episode is about what happens when you stand up in a system that prefers silence, when you become the whistleblower in a world that punishes truth-telling. Because the real scandal isn't just the personal missteps caught on camera. It's the ongoing culture of secrecy, fear, and retaliation that keeps pharmacy techs trapped, unheard, and undervalued. I'm about to share a story, and if you've ever worked in pharmacy, parts of it might hit uncomfortably close to home. It's not one person's story. It's a reflection of what too many techs have quietly lived through. Because sometimes doing the right thing isn't celebrated. It's punished. I was a sterile compounding tech at a major hospital. 6 years in. Good reputation. Always followed procedure. I trained new hires, passed every audit, and loved the precision of the work. Especially knowing how fragile chemo patients are. There's no room for error. That's what they drilled into us. One morning, I prepped my station early. I noticed a strange cloudiness in one of the IV bags, then another. I checked the hood. It hadn't been cleaned properly the night before. Residue was visibly collecting around the back airflow vent. I knew the policy. If the hood isn't clean, you don't compound. Period. So I flagged it. I logged it, stopped production, and reported it to the pharmacist in charge. She looked at me like I'd just confessed to a felony. "We have 17 bags due in 30 minutes, she said. "Can't you just clean it now and keep going?" I told her no. That the entire space needed to be revalidated. I was calm, but firm. She got annoyed, walked off. Later that day, I was pulled into the office by my supervisor. No thanks. No good catch. Just cold stares and a line I'll never forget. "You created panic in a high-priority area. You need to understand how this looks." 2 days later, my schedule changed. Suddenly, I wasn't allowed to compound. I was reassigned to inventory and cleaning, work I hadn't done in years. No explanation. When I asked why, I was told it was to give others a chance to cross-train. Weeks passed. I watched people I trained get lead shifts. I went from being the go-to to being invisible. People stopped talking to me. I overheard someone say, "You don't want to be the next Jane." I kept trying to play it cool. I told myself maybe it would blow over, but it never did. Eventually, I left. Quietly. And it broke my heart. Because I still think about those patients. The ones who might have been harmed if I hadn't said something. The ones who never knew someone stood up for their safety and paid for it. And the part that hurts most, I'd still do it again, even knowing what it cost me. Let's unpack this story, because it's so much more than just a single text experience. It's a window into the culture, the pressures, and the values that dominate pharmacy work, especially in sterile compounding and hospital settings. First, let's acknowledge the gravity of what this tech was facing. Sterile compounding is one of the highest stakes roles a pharmacy technician can have. We're talking about preparing medications for cancer patients, for critically ill people whose immune systems are compromised. Precision and safety are literally life or death. The rules aren't just guidelines, they're non-negotiable mandates. If the hood isn't clean, if even one IV bag is cloudy, you stop everything, because one tiny contamination could cause infection, complications, or worse. This tech understood that deeply. She was experienced, respected, had a strong track record. She trained others. She was trusted to maintain the highest standards. So when she noticed the hood hadn't been cleaned properly, and that cloudiness in multiple bags, she did exactly what she was trained to do. She flagged the problem, paused production, and escalated it. Now here's where the system started to crack. Instead of being thanked, supported, or heard, she was met with annoyance and dismissal. The pharmacist in charge prioritized meeting a production deadline, 17 bags, due in 30 minutes, over patient safety. That tells us a lot. It tells us that the system often values throughput and numbers over the well-being of the very people it's supposed to protect. This is a brutal reality for many pharmacy techs and healthcare workers more broadly. We are told to prioritize patients. But the system runs on budgets, schedules, and metrics. That tension is constant. When safety clashes with speed, what usually wins? Spoiler: it's rarely safety. Then comes the retaliation, the cold shoulder, the reassignment to menial tasks, the isolation. The tech supervisor tells her she created panic. That line alone reveals a culture that punishes those who rock the boat. Calling out legitimate safety concerns is framed as a problem, a disruption, something that makes others uncomfortable. That's the toxic core of many healthcare workplaces. Whistleblowers aren't heroes. They're threats. This isn't just unfair. It's dangerous. When frontline workers are discouraged from raising alarms, patients are put at risk. Morale tanks, burnout skyrockets, and good people leave quietly, heartbroken, just like this tech did. Her story of invisibility and being sidelined after standing up for safety reflects a familiar pattern. We've heard this from techs who speak out against unsafe staffing, who refuse to cut corners, or who report bullying. The punishment is real: social exclusion, stalled careers, or outright demotion. And the isolation is brutal. The whispered warnings, "Don't be the next name." That's psychological intimidation, plain and simple. Think about how this affects not only the individual, but the entire team. When safety concerns are ignored and whistleblowers punished, it creates an environment of fear and silence. People stop speaking up. They accept unsafe practices rather than risk their livelihoods. This culture fuels errors, jeopardizes patient care, and chips away at what little respect pharmacy techs have in the system. Now let's also talk about the emotional toll here. The tech in this story says it broke her heart to leave. She didn't just lose a job or a role. She lost a piece of her identity and purpose. She was proud of her work, the precision, the care, the knowledge that what she did mattered deeply. But the system she worked for told her that her integrity was a problem, that standing up for the vulnerable was a liability. That kind of moral injury, where your values conflict with what your workplace demands, is a key driver of burnout and trauma in healthcare. Yet, what strikes me most is her final line. And the part that hurts most, I'd still do it again. That speaks volumes about the spirit and courage of pharmacy techs. Even when the system fails us, many of us would choose patient safety over convenience or career comfort every single time. That's both inspiring and heartbreaking. It means that pharmacy techs are committed deeply, but we are also profoundly undervalued and unprotected. So, what's the takeaway here? First, we have to call out this toxic culture for what it is: a system that punishes truth tellers and prioritizes production over people. Second, we need to push for stronger protections for techs who raise safety concerns, legally, culturally, and within organizations. Third, we need to recognize and validate the emotional toll this takes. If you're feeling isolated, unseen, or punished for doing the right thing, you are not alone. That pain is real, and it deserves to be acknowledged. Finally, we have to start talking about solutions. How can techs protect themselves? How can managers and leaders create environments where safety and speaking up are rewarded, not punished? How can pharmacy systems redesign workflows so that safety never conflicts with deadlines? And for those feeling stuck, what are your options? Can you pivot to organizations or roles that respect your integrity? This story is a wake-up call, not just for pharmacy leaders, but for all of us who want to see healthcare truly put patients and workers first. It's time to stop rewarding silence and start celebrating courage. Because without the bravery of people like this tech, the ones willing to say no to unsafe practices, the system will keep failing both workers and patients. All right, now that we've unpacked the harsh realities behind this story, the retaliation, the unsafe shortcuts, the emotional toll, let's get practical. What can you do if you find yourself in a similar situation? How can you protect yourself, your career, and your integrity without burning out or getting pushed out? 1. Know your rights and your policies, inside and out. Start by understanding your workplace's official policies on safety, whistleblowing, and employee protections. Many hospitals and pharmacies have protocols that protect employees who report safety concerns. Find the employee handbook, the chain of command, and the specific wording around safety reports. If your facility doesn't have clear policies, that's a red flag. But knowing exactly what they do, say arms you with confidence when you speak up. You can say, per policy, I am required to stop compounding if the hood isn't validated. It's harder for leadership to gaslight or intimidate you when you're speaking from official language. 2. Document everything, every step of the way. Keep a detailed, dated log of what you observe: contamination, unclean equipment, unsafe practices, and what you did about it. Note who you told, when, and their response. Save emails, take pictures if allowed. This isn't about being paranoid. It's about protecting yourself in a system that often denies your experience or flips the blame onto you. If you ever face retaliation or a disciplinary action, having clear documentation can make all the difference in proving you are acting professionally and responsibly. 3. Build your support network, inside and outside work. Isolation is one of the cruelest punishments. When you stand up for safety, the last thing you want is to be left alone. Find allies at work, co-workers who share your values and are willing to back you up. Join professional groups or Facebook communities where pharmacy techs share stories, advice, and encouragement. Sometimes just knowing others have been through it and survived can keep you going. And don't underestimate the power of a trusted mentor or former supervisor who understands your value. Fourth, practice clear, calm, and firm communication. When you raise safety concerns, tone matters, and unfortunately, the system is often primed to label you as difficult or creating panic if you sound frustrated or emotional. Prepare phrases that are factual, non-negotiable, and unemotional. For example, I observed contamination in the hood. Per policy, we must stop compounding until it's cleaned and validated. No apologies, no explanations, just the facts. If pushed to compromise, say, I understand the urgency, but patient safety cannot be compromised. Repeat as needed. Keep your cool, because that makes it harder for others to dismiss you as emotional or problematic. 5. Know when to escalate and how. If your immediate supervisor or pharmacist ignores or brushes off your concerns, know the next steps. Is there a safety officer, risk manager, or compliance department you can confidentially contact? Most hospitals have an anonymous hotline or a way to report safety concerns without retaliation. Escalating isn't making trouble. It's protecting patients and yourself. If you don't feel safe doing this internally, look for external options. Your state's pharmacy board, OSHA, or even advocacy groups that protect healthcare workers' rights. 6. Take care of your mental and emotional health. Retaliation and isolation can be soul-crushing. You might feel guilty, scared, or exhausted. Make sure you're getting support, whether that's through counseling, peer support groups, or trusted friends and family. Remember, standing up for safety is courageous, but it's okay to feel the weight of it. Don't carry it alone. If your workplace environment becomes too toxic or damaging, consider whether it's time to look for a healthier job, one that respects your voice and values your professionalism. 7. Start planning your career pivot or backup plan. Unfortunately, even with all the right moves, some workplaces just won't change. If you find yourself sidelined, ignored, or pushed out after doing the right thing, don't despair. Use this as a signal to build your exit strategy. Update your resume with your specialized skills, sterile compounding expertise, train in others, audit success, explore alternative roles, quality assurance, pharmaceutical manufacturing, clinical trials, remote med review, or even tech roles in biopharma. Reach out to professional networks and look for jobs that prioritize safety culture and respect. Remember, your worth isn't tied to a toxic system that punishes integrity. Doing the right thing might feel lonely or risky, but it's what separates professionals from complacency. When you protect patients, you protect yourself. And when enough of us refuse to stay silent, the system has to change. You are not alone. You are powerful. You have a voice, and you deserve to be heard. If you've listened this far, you already know this story isn't just about one person or one hospital. It's about all of us. Every pharmacy tech who's ever felt invisible, undervalued, or punished for doing what's right. It's about the countless hours you've spent quietly holding up the system, covering gaps, training new hires, only to be sidelined, ignored, or worse, targeted for speaking up. You are not alone. There is a whole community out here. Thousands of pharmacy techs across retail chains, hospitals, compounding labs, who've been through the same struggles, who have felt that sharp sting of betrayal when leadership prioritizes convenience over safety, who've wondered if standing up is worth the cost. It is worth it, because our work matters. The precision you bring to sterile compounding isn't just a job. It's literally life-saving. You're the unseen guardian for vulnerable patients. But more than that, you are a professional with dignity and worth. Your voice carries power, even if it feels ignored right now. And here's what I want you to remember. This system was not built to protect you. It was built to use you. But we can change that. We will change that. How? By refusing to stay silent, by supporting each other, by demanding respect, safety, and fairness, by investing in ourselves and our futures. It's not about being rebellious for the sake of it. It's about reclaiming our power, protecting our health, physical and mental, and holding our workplaces accountable. So if you've ever felt punished for doing the right thing, I see you. I hear you. I stand with you. Because together, we are stronger than the toxic culture that tries to divide and silence us. Now, if this episode hits you in your core, here's what I want you to do. First, share this episode with someone who needs it. Your coworker who's been sidelined for speaking up. The tech who just started in sterile compounding and needs to hear the truth. The friend stuck in a toxic pharmacy culture. Because the more we talk about this and the more we expose the problems, the more pressure we put on the system to change. Second, I want you to drop a comment below. It can be a word, a story, a feeling, anything. If you've ever been punished for doing the right thing, say so. If you're standing your ground right now, let me know. Your voice will help others feel less alone. If you're hesitant, that's okay. You can also DM me anonymously. I want to hear your story. And if you're willing, I'll share it, without names, on the podcast to amplify your truth. Third, if you're tired of the same toxic cycles, it's time to start planning your next move. Follow me on social media for daily tips, real talk, and community support. And don't forget to join the Pharmacy Tech Unfiltered Facebook group, a safe space packed with resources, peer stories, and career advice made just for pharmacy techs. This is where you start building your freedom and future. And finally, subscribe to Pharmacy Tech Unfiltered on your favorite platform. New episodes drop regularly with unfiltered truth, career strategies, and support to help you take control of your path. Remember, you're not just a cog in a broken system. You are a skilled, valuable professional with a voice that matters. Keep standing up. Keep pushing forward. Because every time one of us refuses to be silenced, we chip away at the system that tried to keep us down. We are the change makers. We are the guardians of patient safety. And we are not going anywhere. Thank you for listening. I've got your back, always.